Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the 808 podcast. This podcast is simple 4 questions, 8 minutes, and 8 seconds. And why? Because 808 looks like Bob. That's it. Simple and to the point. So let's get right to it. Question number one in a few sentences. Tell me who you are and what do you do?
My name is Melissa Shanahan. I'm the founder of Velocity Work, which is a firm set up to work with attorneys who own their own firms and help them grow on their terms.
Boom, right into the point. Love it. Let's get to question number two. What advice do you want to share with lawyers? Go.
Well, if lawyers want to get more results in less time, which who doesn't want that? The thing to focus on is how you operate minute to minute, day to day, how you plan your time and how you execute on your time. And one way that you can streamline this is to plan very well ahead of time at the beginning of the week, map out your week in detail in terms of what you're going to be doing through the week, because then that allows you to show up and just execute and not have to think, I have a few minutes. What should I do here? Oh, what's next? Or, hey, there's a fire here. It allows you to be much more intentional with your week. The second is to treat everything as a process. We're very good at doing that inside of our businesses, systems and process inside the business. But how can we set up a process for ourselves that will ensure that we stay on track? I can give an example.
Go for it. I'll allow it.
Okay. If you at the end of every month, I have clients, I think this is brilliant. The 25th, for example, of every month, they have an hour window where they sit down and they run through 5 bullets on preparing and planning for the upcoming month, making sure that they're on track and intentional with the month so that another month doesn't go by and they wish that there's some things they would have gotten to or finished or completed. And so that's a personal process, is putting in your calendar something you can honor every month that will keep you on track. It helps create efficiency and get you your results in less time.
I like that there. Now, when you're talking in the question, the first point you had about planning out the week, how does like someone who runs a law firm go about doing that?
Oh, well, I have the steps. So
there you go. That's why I have you on here for these things.
It's simple, but it's not easy. But here we go. You do a brain download at the beginning of every week. You empty out your head everything you can think of that needs to get done. Our brain is meant for processing, not for storage. So get it out of your head and onto paper.
Right.
Once you have everything out of your head and onto paper, look at your list and quickly figure out, do you actually have to do all of this? Can you delegate? Can you get rid of it? Whatever's left behind, you make sure that you have the steps of each thing broken down. Because if you put something big in your calendar and then you show up at 11 o'clock on Tuesday to do this big thing, your brain has to orient like, oh, okay, where do I start with this? Do all of that up front, break into the small steps. Once you have the small steps broken down in your brain download, you put the amount of time next to each thing that you're going to give yourself to get that thing done. Don't overcomplicate it. Put it down. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Do your best to your ability.
Right.
Then you schedule all of that in your calendar. This is where people freak out because they're like, it doesn't all fit. Well, okay. What was going to happen was you were going to get to Friday and you didn't get it all done. So how about you know that up ahead of time, schedule, be very intentional with your time, reset expectations if you need to, feel good at the end of the day on Friday that you did exactly what needed to be done and you stayed on point.
Right. Well, just to add on to that, if you have a 20-hour project you need to get done.
Yeah.
And on Friday, you haven't done any of it, you're going to be very stressed.
Yes.
Friday, you've done 15 hours of it, the stress level is going to go down.
Yes, 100%. You got it.
So see, yeah, there we go. I should be a lawyer then.
Yes, you should be.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's get to question number 3. What other top CEOs and business owners, in the B2B industry, or basically any top business owner that you can think of that you'd like to acknowledge as a leader and should be a guest on my podcast?
100%. The person that comes to mind is a woman named Jenny Blake. She's out of New York City. She's an author, a coach, but she does a lot of B2B, and she's fantastic.
Perfect. I'll look her up here. Number 4, the final fun question. Melissa, tell me about your first sale.
First sale was felt like a gift from God. And I'm not religious, but I didn't have a website. I didn't have anything up. I had knowledge and experience. I put together a deck and I shared it with a bunch of people and said, hey, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm starting. And because of that deck, I got my first big significant sale. And that set me on the right foot to be able to, for my thing, to really get started. And that was after leaving a consulting firm.
Awesome. And I like it there how you didn't have your website yet. But on
Mm-mm.
the flip side, if you would have been in for a year and someone asked you what your website was, well, I don't have one yet, that would have been a problem then.
Yeah, it was like I just needed to get started. And, honestly, I needed clarity through working with that first person about further my process. I think
Right.
there's a way to be lean, and I was really trying to be lean. And it was advice from wise ones that went before me. And I hope that someone listening to this can take that as well. Be lean, get your stuff together, get your website together, but
Right.
get really clear about your messaging and your process beforehand.
Well, we do allow one cuss word on this podcast. I'm going to say it right now. Just get the damn thing done.
Right.
There,
Exactly.
there we go. There we go. So Melissa, we got 2 minutes and 44 seconds left. We can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about that plan behind you if you want to. So let's talk for a little bit there. You want some promo time?
Sure. I'll share a little
Yeah.
bit, and I do have a question for you, but
I'll allow it.
okay. So Velocity works privately with clients, and that's a bigger investment, a bigger commitment. But we also have, which I think is really cool for attorneys who run their own firms, some lighter weight options, and you can learn all about them at the website. But there's different ways if you want to optimize how you operate as the owner of the firm, knowing that it is on you, you are growing this firm and doing it on your terms. Come and hang with us because we have a really good community. I have a lot of experience with coaching, and I love what I do. So
like your master class is, if I can understand it here, it's basically for the solopreneur attorney. Am I right?
No, it's just anyone who owns their own firm. So I have law
Okay.
firm owners that have 4 or 5 associates.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and a team of 20, but it's still, they are the owner and it's on them to grow it, and they have to keep shifting and changing.
Makes sense. You do have 1 minute and 30 seconds to ask me a question. Go for it.
I want to know how you started this podcast. I think it's brilliant.
So the way I started podcasting, everyone laughs at this story, is I told my coach I've always wanted to do a podcast. So she said, great, your first episode is scheduled in 24 hours. But I don't have a website. I don't know. I don't have questions. I don't have this. She says, no, I get it. That's why you have 24 hours. Go.
Yeah.
And so basically the idea there is, because I noticed a lot of people make podcasting way too complicated. And podcasters hate it when I say this, but most of them who do the training, they make it complicated so they get that monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think the way you do is simple. And I love that your coach put constraints on you. Constraints are beautiful. And that's exactly what you dealt with. And you came out like a champ, clearly.
Yeah, it's working well for me. Again, I've done through the various podcasts, I've done probably somewhere between 12 to 1,600 episodes.
Nice.
So it's definitely working out for me there. You got 34 seconds left. Anything else you want to add, or we can end early, and that's okay.
No, I would say, just for everybody listening, whether you're an attorney or not, if you own your own thing, then this applies. Develop yourself. Be interested in developing yourself, because it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of things. And the way to be intentional is to make sure that your actions are lined up with the things that you want. And it's easy to get off course when things are busy, busy, busy. So self-development is the key for that. So
there it is. And that's the timer just went off there. You pulled it off there. 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds, because 808 looks like Bob. Website, say it real quick.
velocitywork.com.
In the description, it's magic. Melissa, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For everyone else watching or listening, make sure you check out more episodes of the 808 podcast. I am Bob Clark. You all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.